turn this down and get it going, because I am here. Oh, that's not me. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Hey, there we go. Boomer Tech in the house. What's happening, everybody? Happy Thursday, FTG Thursday. Yes, I'm behind schedule, obviously, but I'm doing my best. I'm here, and you're here, so let's go ahead and get going. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this pre-intro, just so we can get it going. So, Johnny, play the other intro. Thank you very much, Johnny. Play the intro. Maybe. There he is, Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that would be me. That's the wrong. God, what is going on here? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we settle controversies and, bring receipts. It is Thursday, the 9th of March, 2023. And I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm so happy that I'm here, and people are rolling in slowly. In fact, let's just go ahead and start saying hi to people, because I got a lot to cover, and I'm short 20 minutes. So over on Rumble, first here, Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Good morning also to Simon Wolfwood, Mike Savage Blarg, and Sully 209. What's up? On the YouTube side of things, good morning to Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell again. And also my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house, Simon Wolfwood, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, good morning, Tyre. Hello, Chicago Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, good morning to James Colley, and also, James, you're kind of chatty today. Oh, I see, you're saying hi to everybody. Infamous Ones in the house, Tyler F. Who's that? Special K on Acids here, good morning, Rotten Corpse, HP Lovecraft, and that's kind of everybody. I know did this thing jump at all? No, I guess it didn't. I guess I got everyone so far. And Jimmy Das Hotep's in the house. I am so happy that you're all here. Thanks to all of you who have begun tweeting out the show. Looks like Mike Savage, Tyler F, and so on and so forth. Please, and Somnambule Nation, of course, please share the stream. Hit the like button sometime in the show. If people come here, make sure they hit the like button. If you don't see the likes corresponding with the number of people in the house, then make sure you get on them. And also, good morning, Rick Ashbringer. I see you there, brother. Because there's we just got to keep doing it. Got to keep doing it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it right away, because this morning another one of the Twitter files dropped. And I don't think I'm going to go through the entire thing. I'll link it in the chat. We'll go through a little bit of it. But something that happened that's fascinating since the Twitter files dropped. You know how this administration likes to target their enemies, right? And I'm thinking maybe Elon Musk has created. Wait. I'm sorry. I have one concerning thing that happened before I get into that with the main topic. I forgot, and it's right here in front of me, and it's in the what can go wrong department of what we do here, when covering news and special events and things like that. And this particular article has me a little bit disturbed, and I'm going to share it with you. And then we're going to put our thinking hats on and think the question of the day, the question of the day here is what can go wrong? And this very much is in line with FTG Thursday, because I don't have a lot of FTGs today. Good morning, Jeff over Turf. What's up? I don't have a whole lot of FTGs today, but this one, I think maybe this is one of the ultimate FTGs, particularly since we recently have been kind of locked down. I mean, what's funny is that none of the jobs I do ended or stopped during the pandemic. But this is one of those things where you go, hey, what are you idiots thinking? What could go wrong? And that's this. From This Is CNN. Science breakthrough. Science! She blinded me with science. Scientists have revived a zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in the permafrost. Now, again, I ask you, what could go wrong? Now let's just get this out of the way. FTG, you idiots. There we go. FTG to you idiots, you idiot scientists. Here's the article. Warmer temperatures in the Arctic are thawing the region's permafrost, a frozen layer of soil beneath the ground, and potentially stirring viruses that, after lying dormant for tens of thousands of years, could endanger animal and human health. So wait a minute. Wait. What's the title of this article? Scientists have revived a zombie virus. What? While the pandemic unleashed by a disease from the distant past sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, scientists warn that the risks, though low, I bet they said that in Wuhan too.
China is asshole.
Though low, are underappreciated. Chemical and radioactive waste that dates back to the Cold War. What? Chemical dates back to the Cold War, which has the potential to harm wildlife and disrupt ecosystems, may also be released during thaws. There's a lot going on with the permafrost that is of concern, and it really shows why it's super important that we keep as much of the permafrost frozen as possible. Well, maybe you should bring some refrigerators up there. I don't know. Said Kimberly Miner, a climate scientist at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California. Permafrost covers a fifth of the northern hemisphere, having underpinned the Arctic tundra and boreal forests of Alaska, Canada, and Russia for millennia. It serves as a kind of time capsule, preserving, in addition to ancient viruses, the mummified remains of a number of extinct animals that scientists have been able to unearth and study in recent years. Well, I got an idea. Oh, in fact, including 2 cave lion cubs and a woolly rhino. Well, hey, maybe we should try to clone those like that sheep they did in England, too. And let's see what else we can unleash on the human population. The reason the permafrost is a good storage for medium isn't just because it's cold. It's an oxygen-free environment that light doesn't penetrate, but current-day Arctic temperatures are warming up to 4 times faster than the rest of the planet, weakening the top layer of the permafrost in the region. To better understand the risks posed by frozen viruses, Jean-Michel Claverie, the emeritus professor of medicine and genomics at the Marseille University School of Medicine in Marseille, France, or Marseille, whatever, how you say that, has tested Earth samples taken from the Siberian permafrost to see whether any viral particles contained therein are still infectious. He's in search of what he describes as zombie viruses, and he has found some. Okay, wait a minute. Jean-Michel Claverie. Is that who we blame? Okay, that's good. Here we go. FTG, Jean-Michel Claverie. Fuck that guy. What are you thinking? And then let's see. Claverie studies a particular type of virus. He first discovered in 2003, known as giant viruses. They're bigger than the typical variety and visible under regular light microscope rather than more powerful electron. Well, because they were probably big enough to harm the dinosaurs. Look at this. Why are you reviving this? Oh, God. We're all going to die. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsoring today. And Jimmy Das Hotep,
you are
the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Wait a minute. Why is this doing this? What the hell's going on here? Hold on. There's something wrong here. Okay, hang on. Let me fix this. Next. Okay, so what the hell? Okay, wait, no, that's not what I want. Why is this asking me for a new sound? Let's just cancel this. Oh, there we go. Okay. Anyway, Jimmy Das Hotep says, Hotep Armory stockpiling in full effect. Hotep Armory stockpiling in full effect. FTG and Unfrozen. Maybe lab created zombie virus. Oh, could they have created this zombie virus in a lab? Wait, does this mean we're all going to turn into zombies? Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. I appreciate you sponsoring the show. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm not excited about this. So let's see. He says okay. In 2014, he managed to revive a virus he and his team isolated from the permafrost, making it infectious for the first time in 30,000 years by inserting it into cultured cells for safety. He's chosen to study a virus that could only target single-celled amoebas, not animals or humans. Well, hey, maybe they could send that one to Wuhan to see if they can convert it to humans, because that seems to be what they're really good at. What the hell? Wait a minute. Soundable side effects include itchy asshole, limp dick, inverted nipples, and a furry tongue. Yes, there you go. Zombie virus means the virus itself has come back from the dead, not that it creates. Okay, avocado stably. Do you think that I was being serious? This is all tongue in cheek. Thank you very much. They are zombie viruses in the sense that they themselves are undead. They don't create undead like they. Okay. Oh, maybe you're explaining this to someone in the chat. I hope you know that I'm joking about this. I understand what zombie viruses are, but I'm not excited about the fact that they are reviving zombie viruses, even if they only affected one-celled animals. Because again, Wuhan.
China is asshole.
That's all I got to say about that. Okay. Anyway, still. Precedent for human effect. Okay, they talk a little more about it. Chances of viral spillover, unknown consequences. Unknown consequences. That's the part I'm worried about. Hey, if some of these viruses, if you revive a virus that's been dormant for 30,000 years, you have no idea what's going to do to humans. But they're taking a chance. Oh, I see. Just putting out the clarity. I get you. Yes, I appreciate that, actually. Oh my God. This is let's just say that is mildly concerning, and I'm going to just keep drinking my coffee. By the way, I do have my cup of Joe from the from Reparations Coffee. I should start a coffee company called Reparations Coffee. I wonder if I'd be stepping on Hotep Jesus' toes by naming a coffee company Reparations Coffee. I don't think that would go over well anyway. I think I'll just leave that alone. Good morning, Nomad. Nice to see you. And then also, Jimmy Das says, also, I was mainly kidding, but messing with viruses that have been extinct probably shouldn't be messed with. I'm feeling that vibe myself, just to say, if you haven't noticed. Okay. All right, let's get into the main topic today, because there's a fascinating article in the Wall Street Journal, and by the way, there's new Twitter files out today, and it is related to the Twitter files that are out today. Apparently the FTC, here's the Wall Street Journal article, archived, of course. FTC Twitter investigation sought Elon Musk's internal communications and journalists' names. Think about that. The Federal Trade Commission investigation sought Elon Musk's internal communications and journalist names. Document obtained by a House panel shed light on the probe into Twitter's compliance with settlement. So here it is. Here's the article. The Federal Trade Commission has demanded Twitter Inc. turn over internal communications related to owner Elon Musk, as well as detailed information about layoffs, citing concerns that staff reductions could compromise the company's ability to protect users, documents viewed by the Wall Street Journal show. Do you think that's really why? Just yes or no in the chat. Do you think it's really why they did this? And I'll explain my question after I see some answers. In 12 letters sent to Twitter, and its lawyers since Mr. Musk's October 27 takeover. The FTC also asked the company to identify all journalists granted access to company records and to provide information about the launch of the revamped Twitter Blue subscription service. According to the documents, the FTC is also seeking to depose Mr. Musk in connection with the probe. Interesting. They're going after Elon. But maybe does this have something to do with him exposing the fact that the government was pressuring social media companies to censor people like individual citizens? I wonder. Quote, "We are concerned these staff reductions impact Twitter's ability to protect consumer information," an FTC official wrote to Twitter's lawyers on November 10th, following an initial wave of layoffs, according to a copy of the letter viewed by the Journal. Now, what's fascinating about that, just that statement alone, "We are concerned these staff reductions impact Twitter's ability to protect consumers' information." I'm just curious, because don't all these social media companies have a little issue with protecting consumer information? In fact, most of them sell consumer information, excuse me. So I'm just curious what their concern really is here. And also, why? Why? Tell me why? Why are you asking for journalist info? Tell me why. Because that's none of your damn business. Tell me why. I just want to tell you back. FTG to the FTC. Okay, that was terrible. That was really, really bad. Anyway, these so-called demand letters were obtained by the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee, which published excerpts from them on Tuesday in a staff report about the FTC's investigation. The letters indicate Twitter responded to the FTC with a big fuck you. Well, no, they didn't. They said, let's see, they responded to the FTC, but that the agency, as of late January, felt that the company was engaging in a troubling pattern of ongoing delay that raises serious questions about its compliance. Compliance with what? What? Compliance with what? Are there FTC rules about how social media companies run? I'm just curious now. Quote, "Protecting consumers' privacy is exactly what the FTC is supposed to do," said FTC spokesman Douglas Farrar. He said the agency is conducting a rigorous investigation into Twitter's compliance with a consent order that came into effect long before Mr. Musk purchased the company. Oh, well, this has nothing to do with Elon Musk then, does it? The FTC routinely seeks information that companies under a consent order provide third parties, including journalists, on the grounds that the company couldn't withhold the same information from the FTC, Mr. Farrar said. Twitter didn't respond to a request for comment. Excuse me. Inquiries by the FTC, which is led by Democrat Lina Khan, not spelled C-O-N like you would think. Hello, fake news expert. Not spelled C-O-N like you would think. More like Khan. Captain Kirk Khan, that type of Khan. Follow massive layoffs implemented by Mr. Musk that have raised concerns within the agency about the ability of the company to comply with a $150 million settlement related to alleged privacy violations. In November, the FTC said its order accompanying the 2022 settlement gives us new tools to ensure compliance. We are prepared to use them. No CEO or company is above the law. Oh, that's just fascinating, isn't it? It's just convenient timing that it happens to be once Elon Musk takes it over that you do this. Anyway, the judiciary, now again, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on the fact that the settlement was prior to Elon Musk buying the company. But, this should have been part of the liabilities that the company had before Elon Musk purchased them. So either somebody wasn't on the up and up or, well, who knows. Anyway, let's see. The Judiciary Panel's report, the first by a new subcommittee examining what Republicans call weaponization of federal agencies. Oh, no, there's no weaponization of federal agencies. There's no way that's happening at all. No, not at all. Yeah. Accused the FTC of overstepping its authority at the urging of progressive groups unhappy with Mr. Musk's acquisition of the company. No. Again, there's no way that could be happening within our government. No. Quote, there is no logical reason, for example, why the FTC needs to know the identities of journalists engaging with Twitter. Well, that's a curious thought, isn't it? The report said there is no logical reason why the FTC, on the basis of user privacy, needs to analyze all of Twitter's personnel decisions. No, come on. They need to do that, don't they? And there's no logical reason why the FTC needs every single internal Twitter communication about Elon Musk. Well, he bought the company. They should know every internal communication about Elon Musk, shouldn't they? Isn't that the FTC's job to, monitor and micromanage every company in the United States of America? I mean, come on. That's their job, isn't it? Come on. Good morning, Thomas Ledwick. How you doing? All right. Now, asked in December about Twitter's investigation in an interview with the Journal, Ms. Khan, not spelled C-O-N, although maybe it should be, declined to discuss specifics of the case, but said the FTC wants to make sure that we're fully enforcing the orders that we have on the books. Oh, aren't you special? She said the 2022 Twitter order is much more prescriptive, much more detailed than a previous FTC settlement with the company from 2011. Well, the 2022 Twitter order, that was with another, wasn't that with another owner or set of owners or another, well, there's a whole bunch of owners because it's a corporation, right? Good morning, Shrapnel. And yes, FTG, FTC. Exactly. But, and let's see. Now, Mr. Musk said in December that the company's workforce had been reduced to roughly 2,000 from 8,000. Well, look, now, here's a question I have. Since they're so concerned about Elon Musk trimming the staff at Twitter, aren't there massive layoffs at like every single social media company right now? I thought they were all like shedding bodies, like, like, oh God, oh my gosh. I can't believe I almost said like burial urns in Wuhan early in the pandemic. But anyway,
China is asshole.
Okay. Look, this appointee, Ms. Khan, spelled Khan, not C-O-N. This couldn't be the Biden administration just kind of flexing their muscles and trying to probe Twitter, because Twitter kind of exposed the fact that Twitter has become part of basically almost could be considered a government agency in some of the ways they were working prior to Elon Musk purchasing it, and Elon Musk just messed up their toy. Now, there's another article here. Now, this is Summit News. I think this is Paul Joseph Watson's joint. He said Biden's FTC is going after journalists. The journalist Musk provided with access to Twitter records. Yeah, he's going after the journalists. They want the journalist names. Why would the FTC need the journalists' names? That's what I don't get. Why do they need the journalists' names? The following report that the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, has demanded Twitter turn over all internal communications related to owner Elon Musk and identify all the journalists that he has provided with the company company records. Musk accused the Biden regime of weaponization of a government agency. No, again, why would Biden administration weaponize the FTC? Because, they don't do that. They're good boys. Lord Stanhope, TC, what's up? Okay. Anyway, so and so we'll get it. So here's Schellenberger, who's reporting the Biden administration is demanding that Elon Musk explain why he allowed journalists to access the Twitter files. This is an outrageous attack on the First Amendment. Yes, Mr. Schellenberger, you are 100% right. And Elon replied, yes, a shameful case of weaponization of a government agency for political purposes and suppression of the truth. Ding! I think he puts up the 1984 thing, identify all journalists. So, So there's a series of tweets here, but this is the one right here that is interesting. So Matt Taibbi had tweeted this out. This is particularly infuriating because while the Twitter Files reporters neither asked for nor received access to private user data, the files themselves are full of instances of government agencies improperly asking for the same, and that is the problem. And he has an example here of this request from the FTC from December 13th. It was recently reported that Twitter has been providing certain third-party journalists, including but not limited to Barry Weiss. This is a government agency naming these journalists by name. Barry Weiss, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, Abigail Schreier, and others with, quote, broad and expanding access to Twitter files, end quote, and, quote, extensive unfiltered access to Twitter's internal communications and systems, end quote, in connection with their so-called... Wait a minute. What do you mean so-called ongoing Twitter Files reporting? What do you mean so-called? No, that's exactly what they called it. It's not so-called. It's they're so named, maybe. Not what? Among other things, Ms. Weiss was recently reportedly given access to Twitter's employee system, added to its Slack channels, and given a company laptop. And so then here's where it says, they say, identify all, oh, you can't even see that. Here, let's put it full screen there. It says down here, then they said they want to identify all journalists and other members of the media to whom you would have granted any type of access to the company internal communications, Slack, emails, resources, internal documents, and or files since October 27th, 2022. They don't like being exposed. Government agency acting as though they control a private corporation. Strange. I'm sure we have a word for that. Oh, yes, we do. Do you know what it is? The reason this is what I was just reading. The first reply to this. Government agency acting as if though they control a private company. Strange. I'm sure we have a word for that. What is that word, class? You know what it is. Starts with an F, ends with an ism, and ash is in the middle. So, fascinating things going on. So, and this is why today, is it today? Here it is. This might be, is this first one? What happened? I had a Twitter Files open here. What happened to it? No, that's 17. Where's Twitter Files 18? Did I accidentally? No, I must have accidentally closed it. Hang on, let me fix this. Give me a moment, and I will have the right thing on the screen. Twitter Files trending on Twitter. So anyway, Twitter Files 18 is out today, just so you know. And starts with this statement to Congress, and they call it the Censorship Industrial Complex. Wow, that sounds apropos. Canadian friends. Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. Good morning. So this is the accompanying graphic he used. True content which may promote. Oh, this is because this is stuff that they were trying to stop, to censor people from posting. True, and part of it was even one of the things that was funny about the Twitter Files. Even true content. Oh, you can't see it all, can you? True content, which might promote vaccine hesitancy. So they wanted them to stop posting, watch people who are even posting that and censor that. Viral posts of individuals expressing vaccine hesitancy or, quote, or stories of true vaccine side effects. So you couldn't even talk about true vaccine side effects. This content is clearly not this content is clearly not mis or disinformation, but it may be malinformation. Oh, so now you get misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, exaggerating or misleading. Also included in this bucket are often true posts, which could fuel hesitancy, such as individual countries banning certain vaccines. So they don't want people talking about that. So anyway, close that. So this is, again, because some of these people testified before Congress, I guess. Was it yesterday? I don't know. Monitor all tweets coming from Trump's personal account or Biden's personal account. When Twitter files reported were given access to Twitter internal documents last year, we first focused on the company, which at times acted like a power above government. But Twitter was more like a partner to government. With other tech firms, it held regular industry meetings with FBI and DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and developed a formal system for receiving thousands of content reports from every corner of government: Health and Human Services, Treasury, National Security Agency, and even local police. So they'd set up these systems where the government could come in and tell them, hey, we want you to look at this. Hey, we want you to look at this. We probably should take this down. This might be misinformation. This might be disinformation. This might be malinformation. Emails from the FBI, DHS, and other agencies often came with spreadsheets of hundreds or thousands of account names for review. Often, these would be deleted soon after. Many were obvious misinformation, like accounts urging people to vote the day after an election. But other official disinfo reports had shakier reasoning. And again, look, from a First Amendment standpoint, if there's not people out there urging people to vote the day after the election, that's not against the law. It's stupid, maybe a little bit shitty, maybe this weird, but it's not against the law. Law, people. Law. Did I miss a super chat a while ago? James Colley, thank you for the deuce, dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Now try with Mrs. Oh, God. Now I know why I skipped it. Mrs. Jones and me. No, and then Avkai says me and Mrs. Jones. That's Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones. We got a thing going on. That wasn't the song he was thinking about. He was talking about Counting Crows. Mrs. Jones and me. Well, Mario. That song. Anyway. Thank you, James Colley. And then also dropped another 5 in the tip jar, which is about to sing, but I'm going to play it tell you right now. Oh! I'll wait for the music on that one. Let's see. Counting Crows is Mr.? No, it's not. It's Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones and me. Mrs. Jones. Hang on. All right. Hang on. See? Counting Crows. Listen, I heard that song about 7,000 times on a single drive to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm pretty confident it's Mrs. Jones and me. Crows, Mrs. Jones. What? Mr. Jones? It is. Wait a minute. All right, hang on a second. Because the lyric is Mrs. Jones, though. Lyrics, okay. Lyrics, because. Here we go. Lyrics. If I've been hearing Mr. Jones this whole time. Because he's talking to Mr. Jones about Mrs. Jones, right? Holy shit. It is Mr. Jones. What the hell? Mr. Jones and me. I've been hearing Mrs. Jones all this time. Jesus. Shut up. I don't want to hear about my epiphany. That's even more annoying then, after hearing 1,000 times. Mr. Jones and me. That doesn't even sound right. Okay, whatever. I stand corrected. There. Back to these shitheads. That's hilarious. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo. Okay, why are we all putting song lyrics in the chat? I don't know. All right, here we go. Yeah, Mr. Jones the tranny. So anyway, many were obvious misinformation, like accounts urging people to vote the day after the election, but other official disinformation reports had shake your reasoning. The highlighted Twitter analysis here disagrees with the FBI about accounts deemed proxy Russian actors. So that was that when they were saying the FBI is trying to tell them that these are possible Russian accounts, and Twitter's like, there is absolutely no evidence that these are Russian accounts. Then when we saw a disinfo list where evidence was even less clear, this list of 378 Iranian state-linked accounts includes an Iraq vet once arrested for blogging about the war, a former Chicago Sun-Times reporter, and Truth Out, a site that publishes Noam Chomsky. So they were giving them lists of just that were just completely wrong, right? In some cases, state reports didn't even assert misinformation. Here, a list of YouTube videos is flagged for anti-Ukraine narratives. Oh, what? I wonder where they got this information. Yeah, see, because you're not allowed to be anti-Ukraine either. But the bulk of censorship requests didn't come from the government directly. Asked if Twitter's marketing department could say the company detects misinfo with the help of outside experts, a Twitter executive replied. So he said this is a Twitter communication here. M. Pickles, are you comfortable with marketing talking about misinfo by saying that we detect it through ML, human review, and partnerships with outside experts? Now, who would these outside experts be? Oh, I know. You mean places like the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center and certain media outlets that want you censored? So I know that's been a slippery process, so not sure if you want our public explanation to hang our hat on that. Can we just say partnerships? Not sure we describe the FBI and DHS as experts or some non-governmental organizations that aren't academic. So they were getting some NGOs that probably were just activist groups. Anyway, we came to think of this grouping, state agencies like DHS, FBI, or the Global Engagement Center, along with NGOs that aren't academic, and an unexpectedly aggressive partner, commercial news media, as the censorship industrial complex. So they had all these organizations, whatever, they deemed them the censorship industrial complex. Now, who's in the censorship industrial complex? Twitter in 2020 helpfully compiled a list for a working group set up in 2020. The National Endowment for Democracy, the Atlantic Council's DFR Lab, and Hamilton 68's creator, the Alliance for Securing Democracy, are key. Now, those are all clearly left-wing activist groups. Twitter execs weren't sure about Clemson Media's forensic lab, too chummy for something whatever, and weren't keen on the RAND Corporation, too close to U.S. Department of Defense, but others were deemed just right. So all these agencies, they just thought, oh, these are just swell. We should partner with them. Now, the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, ideally serve as a check on corporations and the government. Not long ago, most of these institutions viewed themselves that way. Now, intel officers, researchers, quote unquote, and executives at firms like Twitter are effectively one team, or signal group, as it were. The Woodstock of the censorship industrial complex came when the Aspen Institute, now if you're not familiar with the Aspen Institute, holy shit, which receives millions a year from both the State Department and USAID, held a star-studded confab in Aspen in August 2021 to release its final report on information disorder. Oh, aren't they special? I'm sure it's all the disinformation was very one-sided. The report was co-authored by Katie Couric, she has no political agenda, and Chris Krebs, the founder of the Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency. Yoel Roth of Twitter and Nathaniel Gleitcher of Facebook were technical advisors. Prince Harry joined Couric as a commissioner. Wait! Prince Harry was involved in this? Oh my God. No wonder Christopher Boozy likes Prince Harry. Their taxpayer-backed conclusions. The state should have total access to data to make searching speech easier. Speech offenders. That's actually a term they use. Speech offenders should be put in a holding area, and government should probably restrict disinformation, even if it means losing some freedom. Now, he put the graphics, but I'm not going to read those because it probably says the same damn thing. Is this stunning to you or what? Speech offenders should be put in a holding area. Maybe they should try some train cars and just take them to a bigger holding area. I don't know. That's frightening. Note, Aspen recommends the power to mandate data disclosure be given to the FTC. The FTC. Didn't we just talk about the FTC? Which this committee just caught in a clear abuse of office, demanding information from Twitter about communications with and identities of Twitter file reporters. Yes, see, go after the journalists. Naturally, Twitter's main concern regarding the Aspen report was making sure Facebook got hit harder by any resulting regulatory changes. So they were trying to make sure their competitors got it worse than they did. Amazing. Hello, Aaron Meredith. The same agencies, FBI, DHS, CISA, GEC, invite the same experts, Thomas Ridd and Alex Stamos, funded by the same foundations, Newsmark, Omidyar, and Knight, trailed by the same reporters, Margaret Sullivan, Molly McHugh, Brandy Zadrozny, who's, oh my gosh, those are just like, oh my gosh, the who's who of left-wing journalists, seemingly to every conference and every panel. So they had the same experts come to every conference and every panel to say the same old narrative, propaganda, and whatever else you want to call it. The Twitter files showed the principles of this incestuous self-appointed truth squad moving from law enforcement and intelligence to the private sector and back, claiming a special right to do what they say is bad practice for everyone, to be fact-checked only by themselves. So they're their own fact checkers. Now, while Twitter sometimes pushed back on technical analysis from the NGOs about who is and who isn't a bot, on subject matter questions like vaccines or elections, they instantly defer to sites like PolitiFact, funded by the same NGOs, Koch, Newmark, and Knight. The Twitter files repeatedly show media acting as a proxy for NGOs, with Twitter embracing for bad headlines if they don't nix accounts. See, now this is the part that we used to see all the time. We knew that anytime you started seeing bad headlines, like about YouTube, as soon as you saw a bad article about YouTube, every time it happened, there'd be a new kind of adpocalypse, right? Because they would write an article and it would spread among the Mockingbird media, and then all of a sudden YouTube's making changes to YouTube and making it harder for you. You can't say this, you can't say that, whatever. You can't swear and you can't this and that, right? And that's why so many people were getting yeeted, because they would make new rules and then they would retroactively apply those rules. Well, this is what all these social media companies were worried about, that they would get bad press, and every time they got bad press, well, then they had to make changes. It was a shakedown. This was like, I don't know. It was a shakedown. Well, you say, so what? Why shouldn't civil society organizations and reporters work together to boycott misinformation? Isn't that not just an exercise of free speech? Wait, what? Isn't that not just an exercise of free speech, but a particularly enlightened form of it? Oh, yes. See, we don't want you saying bad things, and we decide what the bad things are. See, that's way. Shouldn't it be just like that? Shouldn't we be able to tell you not to, force you not to say bad things? The difference is these campaigns are taxpayer funded. Though the state is supposed to stay out of domestic propaganda, the Aspen Institute, Graphica, and The Atlantic Council's DFR lab, New America, and other anti-disinformation labs are receiving huge public rewards or public awards. Some NGOs like the GEC-funded Global Disinformation Index or the DoD-funded NewsGuard. Did you know NewsGuard was funded by the Department of Defense? Did you know that? Not only seek content moderation, but apply subjective risk or reliability scores to media outlets, which can result in reduction in revenue. Do we want the government in this role? So NewsGuard, you know how they have their scores on what media are reliable and what's not? And basically, if it's a conservative media outlet, they just automatically get lower scores from NewsGuard. It's just really how it is. So anyway, perhaps the ultimate example of this absolute fusion of, and oh, by the way, and NewsGuard is part of the Department of Defense. Isn't that special? Perhaps the ultimate example of the absolute fusion of state, corporate, and civil society organizations is the Stanford Internet Observatory, whose election integrity partnership is among the most voluminous flaggers in the Twitter files. Now, the Election Integrity Partnership, they're the ones who came up with this. I think it's called Alexander 18 or something like that. So, whatever it's called. They are absolutely a heavy Democrat favored bias or Republican anti-bias or whatever, and they love to flag people. They were the biggest flaggers. They're just a bunch of flags. After public uproar paused, the Orwellian Disinformation Governance Board. Oh, by the way, that chick, what's her name? Nina something. She's suing Fox News because they sullied her hitting for Nina Jankowicz. Is that her name? Nina Jankowicz. She's suing Fox News because, you know, they lied about her in that disinformation governance board that the DHS was coming up with. Well, they decided to not do that anymore. And they said, no, they lied about her. Anyway, she's suing Fox News. It's hilarious. After public uproar paused, the Orwellian Disinformation Governance Board of the DHS in early 2020, Stanford created the EIP to fill the gaps legally, as director Alex Stamos explains here. Foundation for Freedom Online, and he has the video. I'm not going to do it. EIP research manager Renee DeRista boasted that while filling the gaps, the EIP succeeded in getting tech partners, quote unquote, Google, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, to take action on 35% of the URLs flagged under remove, reduce, or inform policies. So the EIP, which is the Stanford, what do they call it? Election Integrity Partnership, got action on 35% of the people they asked to be, 35% of the people they flagged. This is scary. According to EIP's own data, it succeeded in getting nearly 22 million tweets labeled in the run-up to the 2020 vote. So before the election, this NGO, non-governmental agency, which got government funding, was got 22 million tweets labeled, whatever that means. Well, here it is. It says right here. In total, our incident-related tweet data included 5,888,771 tweets. They had a lot of damn time in their hands, didn't they? They had the time to flag over almost 6 million tweets and retweets from ticket status IDs directly, 1,094,115 tweets and retweets collected first from ticket URLs, and 14,914,478 from keyword searches, for a total of 21,897,364 tweets. They got action on 35% of those. Unbelievable. It's crucial to reiterate, EIP was partnered with state entities like CISA and GEC while seeking elimination of millions of tweets in the Twitter files. The Twitter executives did not distinguish between organizations, using phrases like, quote, according to CISA, escalated via EIP. After the 2020 election, when EIP was renamed the Virality Project, the Stanford lab was onboarded to Twitter's JIRA ticketing system, absorbing this government proxy into Twitter's infrastructure with the capability of taking in an incredible 50 million tweets a day. So they put him basically onto one of their systems so they could do this directly and monitor 50 billion tweets a day. Government-backed agency. Freaking-tastic. Let's see. There are more. In one remarkable email, the Virality Project recommends, that sounds weird. That sounds like something that you would take to, well, let's just say for male enhancement. But anyway, in one remarkable email, the Virality Project recommends multiple platforms take action even against stories of true vaccine side effects and true posts which could fuel hesitancy, which is the post we showed before. This is the censorship industrial complex at its essence, a bureaucracy willing to sacrifice factual truth in service of broader narrative objectives. It's the opposite of what a free press does. Profiles portrayed Duresta as a warrior against Russian bots and misinformation, but reporters never inquire about work with DARPA or GEC or other agencies. In the video below from Mike Ben Cyber, Stamos introduces her as having worked for the CIA. Oh, that's great. Duresta has become the public face of the censorship industrial complex, a name promoted everywhere as an unquestioned authority on truth, fact, and internet hygiene, even though her former firm, New York Knowledge, has been embroiled in 2 major disinformation scandals. Oh, is that special? Hi, Brad Young. This ultimately is the most serious problem with the censorship industrial complex. Packaged as a bulwark against lies and falsehood, it is itself a major source of disinformation, with Americans' taxpayers funding their own estrangement from reality. Duresta's new knowledge helped redesign the Hamilton 68 project exposed in the Twitter files. Although it claimed to track Russian influence, Hamilton really followed Americans like Ultra MAGA Dog Mom, Right to Liberty, and even a British rugby player named Rod Bishop. So they were just basically running around flagging people who described themselves as MAGA or Ultra MAGA Dog Mom. Told he was put on the Hamilton list of suspected Russian influence accounts, Bishop was puzzled. This is the British rugby player. Nonsense. I'm supporting Ukraine, he said. As a result of Hamilton's efforts, all sorts of people were falsely tied in press stories to Russian bots. Former House Intel Chief Devin Nunes, Walk Away founder Brandon Straka, supporters of the Fire McMaster hashtag, even people who use the term deep state. So if you've ever used the term deep state, they were looking at you, kid. Hamilton 68 was funded by the Alliance for Securing Democracy, which in turn was funded by the German Marshall Fund, which in turn was funded in part by the Department of State. See, this is called, that's, you know what they call that, don't you? That's called money laundering. Basically, it's money laundering. The Department of State funds this German Marshall Fund, which just funds the Alliance for Securing Democracy, which then funds Hamilton 68. That's how they pay for propaganda without maybe not getting their hands as dirty. But somebody's going to figure out eventually. The far worst scandal was Project Birmingham, in which thousands of fake Russian Twitter accounts were created to follow Alabama Republican Roy Moore in his 2017 race for the U.S. Senate. Newspapers reported Russia seemed to take an interest in the race, favoring Moore. Oh, that's where that came from. Oh, wow. They are dirty motherfuckers. Anyway, though at least one reporter from a major American newspaper was at a meeting in September 2018 when New Knowledge planned the bizarre bot and smear campaign, the story didn't break until December, 2 days after DiResta gave a report on Russian interference to the Senate. Internally, Twitter correctly assessed the Moore story as far back as fall of 2017, saying it had no way of knowing if the Moore campaign purchased the bots or if an adversary purchased them in an attempt to discredit him. Twitter told this to reporters who asked about the story contemporaneously. Moreover, after the story broke, is Twitter Roth, Joel Roth, the good guy in this one too? Because sometimes he is a good guy. He said, there have been other instances in which domestic actors created false accounts, and some are fairly prominent in progressive circles. You don't say. Roth added, we shouldn't comment repeatedly in the Twitter files, but when Twitter learned the truth about scandals like Project Birmingham, they said nothing. Oh, he was the bad guy. Like banks that were silent about mortgage fraud. Reporters also kept quiet, protecting their fellow stakeholders. Well, who would those fellow stakeholders be? Democrats. Twitter stayed silent out of political caution. DiResta, who ludicrously claimed she thought Project Birmingham was just an experiment to investigate what extent they could grow audiences using sensational news, hinted at the broader reason. Let's see, what was that? What did she say? Let's see, what'd she say? My understanding was that they were going to investigate to what extent they could grow audience for Facebook pages using sensational news. So, it was just a test, and they had to use Roy Moore as their test book or test dummy. Is that what it was? I know there were people who believed that Democrats needed to fight fire with fire, she told the New York Times. It was absolutely chatter going around the party. The incident underscored the extreme danger of the censorship industrial complex. Without real oversight mechanisms, there is nothing to prevent these super-empowered information vanguards from bending the truth for their own ends. By way of proof, no major press organization has re-examined the bold claims DiResta and New Knowledge made to the Senate, e.g. that Russian ads reached 126 million people in 2016. Oh, you mean like the Jesus arm wrestling the devil ad that everybody saw and made their decision on whether or not to vote for Trump or Hillary that year? I'm sure that's what it was, while covering up the Hamilton and Alabama frauds. If the CIC deems it, the lies stay hidden. In the digital age, this sprawling new information control bureaucracy is an eerie sequel to the dangers Dwight Eisenhower warned about in his farewell address when he said, quote, the potential for disastrous rise of misplaced power exists. And then he thanks the other people who helped with his report. So that's the end of that Twitter thread. Dirty bastards, I gotta tell you. So anyway, let's move on because that's enough of that. By the way, Tucker Carlson's still trending. He's trending quite a bit. Here's by the way, we have Jim Jordan's opening statement on the weaponization of the federal government and the Twitter files. Let's hear Jim Jordan real quick, and then how much time do I got? I got time for this. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do it. We're going to do this right now. Here's Jim Jordan opening statement on the weaponization of the federal government and the Twitter files. Let's see what Jim Jordan says. Click and go.
In the run-up to the 2020 presidential election, FBI Special Agent Elvis Chan, in his deposition in Missouri versus Biden, said that he repeatedly informed Twitter and other social media platforms of the likelihood of a hack and leak operation in the run-up to that presidential election. He did it even though there was no evidence.
No evidence?
In fact, he said in his deposition that we hadn't seen anything, no intrusions, no hack.
No.
And he repeatedly told him something was coming.
But he kept saying
Roth, head of trust and safety at Twitter, testified.
Joel Roth. We know that name.
That he had regular meetings with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the
Was it
Department of
just
Homeland
Joel
Security,
Roth?
the FBI, and other folks regarding election security. During these weekly meetings, federal law enforcement agencies communicated that they expected a hack and leak operation. The expectations of a hack and leak operation were discussed throughout 2020.
Okay.
And he was told they would occur in a period shortly before the 2020 presidential election, likely in October. And finally, he said, I also learned in these meetings that there were rumors that a hack and leak operation would involve Hunter Biden. So,
wait,
what did the government tell him?
Wait.
Hack and leak operation.
Elvis Chan sounds like an anime character. Very well done, sir.
Was coming. How often did the government tell him this? Repeatedly for a year. When did the government say it was going to happen? October of 2020. And who did the government say it would involve? Hunter Biden. Now think about it. Government had no evidence of any intrusions, no evidence of a hack and leak, yet for a year they tell Twitter that a hack and leak is coming. It's coming in October, and it will involve Hunter Biden.
How did they know
No
that?
evidence, but the FBI knows.
How did they know
what's
that?
Gonna happen, when it's going to happen, and who it's going to
How did they know that?
Now, that's amazing.
It's
That is
shocking.
amazing to me.
It's shocking.
Maybe they get the time right. We're kind of used to October surprises every 4 years.
How did they
So
know?
maybe they get the time right, but they got the time, they got the method, and they got the person. That's amazing. It's almost like these guys were clairvoyant. How did they know?
They were clairvoyant. They
How
were
did
very,
they
very.
know?
They're clairvoyant. You just
Maybe
said
it's
it.
because they had the laptop. And they had it for a year.
Oh, that's right. They did have
They had the laptop. They knew it wasn't hacked.
They knew.
But that's not what they told Twitter.
Oh.
They didn't tell Twitter
They had
that
the laptop
information,
in their
and
possession.
Twitter believed, frankly, everything they said. In those weekly meetings, the FBI
I guess I
had
can't
built
blame
a cozy
Twitter for
relationship
that.
with this tech company and others as well, we believe.
Well, they had monthly meetings.
Emails between the FBI and Twitter began with the greeting, "Hey, Twitter folks." Emails that asked Twitter to take down accounts and limit visibility of tweets.
Yes.
FBI handed out security
That's
clearance to
called.
folks at Twitter.
There's a name for that.
They communicated with Twitter on the secret teleporter app where messages disappear after a certain length of time. And of course, they paid Twitter $3.4 million.
Oh, they were just reimbursing them for their
on
service.
August 6, 2020, the FBI briefed Senators Grassley and Johnson, and according to the senator's testimony, last month in front of this
Hi, Renee
committee, the
Mayette.
briefing
I
was
just noticed you were
bogus
here.
and
What's
done
up?
so someone could go leak that the briefing had happened and undermine the senator's investigation.
Oh, we wouldn't want to
September
undermine the
2020.
Senator's investigation.
Government-funded think tank gets involved. They do a tabletop exercise. The participants include the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other mainstream media outlets. Facebook is there. Mr. Roth of Twitter is there.
Wait a minute. They also were talking to the New York Times and the Washington Post. I can't imagine them doing that.
Organizer was the former CEO of NPR and the former head of news at Twitter. The mock exercise is hosted by the Aspen Institute.
The Aspen Institute.
The Aspen Institute,
yes.
which, by the way, in 2020, their budget was $9.3 million. $5 million from the State Department, $4 million from USAID.
Wait, what did he say their budget was? Let me go back to that budget. Their budget was $9 million. And their budget all came from U.S. government agencies.
$10 from USAID.
Wait, hang on.
Almost all their budget. Guess the title. Guess the title of this exercise. The Aspen Digital Hack and Dump Working Group. And guess who the subject was? Guess who the
Hack
subject
and dump.
was?
That sounds like a convenience
Hunter
store.
Biden. That's amazing. October 14, 2020, the New York Post runs the story on the Biden laptop, and Twitter takes it down, even though it was accurate and even though it didn't violate Twitter's rules. Other social media companies do the same. Mainstream press works to downplay and discredit the story. Finally, as if on cue, 5 days later, on October 19th, 51 former Intel officials sign a letter with the now famous sentence, the Biden laptop story has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation.
No, they didn't say that it was though. They said it has the earmarks of it. So they didn't really say that it was.
Our government built a cozy relationship with big tech. They primed him for a hack and leak operation. They funded the think tank, which further primed big tech and big media. They leaked information to undermine the good work of 2 United States senators. And then 51 former intel officials closed the deal with their letter.
Hack and dunk sounds like Monkey's morning routine.
Pointed out in his reporting, the information op was run on us, run on we the people. And if that's not the weaponization of government, I don't know what is. And I'll get to this in a second, but I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. I'll get to this.
All right, so maybe I have to go back and see that whole the whole hearing and what happened there. So anyway, let's go back to Tucker Carlson is still trending, and there's a lot of people angry with Tucker Carlson. What happened? Oh, I see what happened here. No wonder. There's the one I had before. Here we go. Let's just go back to, because people are not upset with Tucker Carlson. By the way, thanks Swamp Fox Ghost, Somnable Nation, Tyler F, TC, Jimmy Das Hotep, all of you who have been tweeting out the show. I greatly appreciate it. Please feel free, if you haven't done so yet, you still can. It won't hurt you. It'll be good for your soul to share this stream. So please do so at your convenience. Now, Tucker Carlson was still trending today because lots of people have been watching what he said. Now, some people are very angry about it, and some people are very happy about it. But one of the things that people keep saying is that, oh, Tucker's denying that there was violence on that day, that he's just cherry picking stuff, right? He's cherry picking footage. Oh, here's an update as far as that January 6th stuff too. This is under Tucker Carlson. Motion to dismiss in the January 6th Proud Boys trial. Defendants Pizzola's motion for dismissal with prejudice regarding recent revelations on Tucker Carlson and associated testimony and the discovery of massive Brady and Jenks violations and violations of due process. Very interesting here. This is new. Let's see. Defendants Pizzola motion for dismissal with prejudice or in the alternative mistrial regarding recent revelations on Tucker Carlson and associated testimony, blah, blah, blah. Defendant Dominic Pizzola, by and through his undersigned counsel, Roger Roots and Steve Metcalf, hereby moved the court for dismissal of the indictment in this case with prejudice due to recent revelations on the Tucker Carlson show and associated testimony on Thursday, March 2nd, as well as due to Jenks and Brady violations. They absolutely, I don't know what Jenks is, but I know they're definitely Brady violations, revealed on March 8th, which established that the prosecution has been monitoring attorney-client communications of the defendants, destroying evidence and doctoring and fabricating evidence involving confidential human sources. Interesting. I wonder, does she have a follow-up in here? Oh, here, no, that's a donate. What is this? Let me see what she's, let's see, let's show the thread here. JPL attorney Roger Roots is working on this case pro bono for Dominic Pizzola, and the NCLU is helping to cover the expenses. Okay. First thing I do is change venue. There's zero chance that any of them got a fair trial in D.C. Well, obviously they're not getting fair trials in D.C. It's and the trials in D.C. have had 100% conviction rate. Every trial that actually had gone to trial or it's gone before the judge have been either pled guilty through plea deals or convicted. That's unheard of. Okay, that's unheard of, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, Tucker Carlson last night is talking about that how Attorney General Merrick Garland is a liar.
Why the fuck you lying?
Okay, here's Tucker on that. Let's see what he says here. Oh,
5 officers died on that day.
Oh, the Attorney General said that. 5 officers died on that day. Oh my gosh. Anyway, here's Tucker talking about that.
Not some guy on Twitter. That's the Attorney General of the United States. That's a man whose honesty is central to his job. If you had a choice between IQ and integrity in an attorney general, of course you would go with integrity because it's essential. But Joe Biden's attorney general, Merrick Garland, is a liar. He just lied about something that is provably false. Who are these 5 officers who were, quote, killed that day? Notice he didn't
There
tell
are
you.
none.
No one ever tells you. No one ever shows
They
you their
say it all the
autopsy.
time.
They
Joe
don't want
Biden
any
says it all the
detail.
time.
They just want the slogan. 5
Let's see if is there an accompanying article? There is not. Here, let's go. Let's watch the whole thing, and then we'll probably get out of here. I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm not getting to, but this is
that Officer Sicknick was not beaten to death. Consider the death of police officer Brian Sicknick. Now, we still don't know exactly how Officer Sicknick died.
Yes, we do.
We're not certain that anyone does
He
know.
had 2
no one
strokes.
has explained it. But after reviewing the previously withheld video evidence, we can tell you with certainty that Officer Sicknick was not beaten to death by Trump voters at the Capitol. The tape shows very clearly Brian Sicknick
we've already
walking
seen
through the
this.
building in
Hang
apparent
on.
health after the media.
Oh, let's see. Oh, never mind.
Told us for 2 years that he had been murdered. So they were wrong about that. Okay, they got caught. Here's the interesting thing. They won't admit it. Liz Cheney's tweet is still on Twitter tonight. Officer Sicknick was killed defending our Capitol from the violent mob on January 6th. No correction. Anderson Cooper of CNN still has not apologized. Quote, Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher.
That's a lie.
He told us. Those are lies. So they have to admit it and move on. But they won't. In fact, this week, the White House trotted out both the press secretary and Joe Biden's attorney general, the attorney general of the United States, to claim not just that Brian Sicknick was actually murdered by Republicans at the Capitol, but that other officers were murdered too. It's almost beyond belief. Watch this.
The rage of bipartisan lawmakers, you heard them all yesterday, you guys reported on it, who have condemned this false depiction of the unprecedented violent attack on our Constitution and the rule of law, which cost police officers their lives.
It was a violent attack on a fundamental tenet of American democracy, that power is peacefully transferred from one administration to another. Over 100 officers were assaulted on that day. 5 officers died.
5 officers died on that day. Now, that's just not some guy in.
And how many? Okay, class. How many officers died that day? By the way, thank you, Chicago Mike, for dropping a big bull in the tip jar. And Chicago Mike, you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Who is this guy named January 6th that killed 5 police officers? That's yet to be determined, Mike, but thank you for sponsoring the show.
Twitter, that's the Attorney General of the United States. That's a man whose honesty is central to his job. If you had a choice between IQ and integrity.
I know we've seen part of this already, but that's
of course
okay.
you would go with integrity because it's essential. But Joe Biden's Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is a liar. He just lied about something that is provably false. Who are these 5 officers who were, quote, killed that day? Notice he didn't tell you. No one ever tells you. No one ever shows you their autopsies. They don't want any detail. They just want the slogan. Now, they're counting Brian Sicknick. That's a lie. But who are the other 4? Well, those are 4 officers who killed themselves after January 6th.
No, 4, not 4, 3 who killed themselves. And the 5th one, which Joe Biden included in the year commemoration, was it 1 year, 2 year commemoration, was the one who got killed by a person who attacked him with a car outside the Capitol. He was hit by a car, then a knife wielding guy who they ended up shooting him too, and he included him. By name he included him as a victim of January 6th. That guy was actually killed by a terrorist.
In some cases long after January 6th. But their suicides, we know for a fact, were the result of the Republican.
I wonder if those other officers too. Now this is. Oh no, I'm about to come up with my own conspiracy theory, which I'm curious if any of those officers were planning on being whistleblowers on what happened that day. Just curious.
Mob at the Capitol. It's just false. And it's not some esoteric fact. That fact is available to anyone who has internet access. No police officers died that day on January 6th. None. Not one. Some were assaulted, that is true, and their assaults are indefensible. So how many were assaulted?
Hey, oh wait, I thought Tucker was saying that it was completely peaceful. He said their assaults were indefensible. Yes, he's right. Those assaults were indefensible. But not a single officer was killed by a January 6th protester. Someone brought it up yesterday that Alec Baldwin killed more people than the entire insurrection of January protesters. Okay, so anyway.
Well, Garland said over 100. The Government Accountability Office says the number is 114, and we're just going to roll with that. We don't know if it's true, but we'll take it at face value. And that is bad. We are opposed to assaulting police officers in any context. We said that on January 6, 2020, and we'll say it again, we're against that. But is January 6th the worst assault on the U.S. government since the Civil War? That's insane. It's not even close.
Okay, so anyway, thank you, Renee Mayette, for dropping a 5 in the tip jar through YouTube Super Chat with a keep it up dancing green pear. I think that's what it is. No one knows what these little things are they put on YouTube, but I like them. The little stickers, it's kind of cute. So thank you very much for sponsoring the show, Renee. Greatly appreciated. All right, so now so I got a whole thread of just people talking about Tucker. Oh, Adam Schiff completely eviscerated Tucker Carlson last night after Anderson Cooper. Let's see if he did it with straw men. How long is this clip? This is a 40-second clip. Let's see how many straw men Adam Schiff includes in his evisceration. This is a Krasenstein tweet because, you know, we have to have the daily Krasenstein tweet. Here's Adam Schiff eviscerating Tucker Carlson. Now, let's see how many straw men he includes.
Yet, the power of repetition is such that, you know, people like Tucker Carlson.
Wait, the power of repetition? You mean like the word insurrection or deadly insurrection that you've been repeating since January 6, 2021? Yeah, that's the power of repetition. I mean, let's let him finish his thought here.
Who know they're lying to the public can convince tens of millions of people of those lies.
Wow. It's almost like you're talking about your own strategy there, Adam.
I tell you, it's been really illuminating to me about other periods of history where you had other liars use a powerful megaphone and convince millions that they can't believe what they've seen.
You mean because you've only let them see one thing? But wait a minute. Haven't they seen the video Tucker Carlson gave him for his receipts? We've only seen selectively edited video. And now we're seeing a little more, and it's really bothering you, isn't it, there, Adam Pencil-Neck Schiff?
And you wonder, how is that possible? And now we see how that's possible.
Yes, the January 6th committee showed us exactly how that's possible. As Adam Kinzinger over there just shakes his head and grimaces.
When you have people who have no love of country, no patriotic fiber, when it's just all about the money.
Are you getting paid for this, Adam? I didn't know that. Maybe you should fess up.
Then this is what happens. And for Tucker Carlson, through his many iterations,
yeah, and this is one of the Krasenstein brothers saying, Adam Schiff completely eviscerated Tucker Carlson last night. It really sounds like he's talking about he's talking about his own committee, right? All right, now here's an interesting thing that Jack Posobiec put out last night because remember I said that the crowd, you know, they keep saying, there's no way this was mostly peaceful, right? Hang on, how it's mostly peaceful, and then they threw those fat flashbangs into the crowd. Remember I talked about that? I have noticed, and I wonder if anyone had any video on that. Well, here's what Jack Posobiec put out. Now, if you look at this, these people are just out there. Is there any violence going on right now, or are they just assembled around this area? Oh, hang on, the video froze a little bit. Oh, they stopped it. Okay, hang on. This actually the video froze. Let me try this again. All right. Oh no, does it freeze there on purpose? Oh, it does. Apparently it freezes on purpose. So this is and I'm not a fan of Posobiec, but still, it's video evidence. If this ever plays. Good God. What is going on here? Let's try it in the small form. Okay, that's not working either. Let's just refresh it and we'll try it again. Is this going to work? Dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right. So notice there's no you're looking around, there's nothing going on here. And in fact, so nothing's. And now they start throwing flashbangs into the crowd. Notice there was nothing going on there before those flashbangs hit in the crowd. Why did they throw flashbangs in the crowd? What were they doing at this point that they thought it was necessary to throw flashbangs in the crowd? Very curious. Family recent information about a Alabama man who died at the Capitol. Oh, and this is where the guy had a heart attack. Interesting. That I did not know. This is where that's an area where he had the heart attack, where the flashbangs went off. Hang on, let's see. There we go. Okay, the video keeps. All right, unfortunately, the video keeps stopping because apparently my screen will not allow that. Let's see what this says. So now this, and then this guy starts pepper spraying people. And oh, wait a minute, who was that? Wait, I want to see who that was. They circled here. So this guy's now he's pepper spraying people after they did the flashbang. And let's see. Oh, that's someone just taking a selfie. Okay. And this is when the crowd starts fighting with police. I knew that there was... The flag is flapping menacingly. Yes, it is a very menacingly flapping flag. Try to say that 20 times fast. Menacingly flapping flag. Menacingly flapping flag. Say that 5 times as fast as you can. All right. Anyway, this is not playing, but yeah. So again, I remember I said that the other day that there is video where the crowd is peaceful and they're not agitated. Then they start throwing flashbangs into the crowd. Then the one guy starts pepper spraying people. For what? For being there? It wasn't a violent insurrection until that happened, which is fascinating. Now, except for the idiots who pushed their ways through barriers, but by the time most of these people got there, those barriers were already gone because they were gone during Trump's speech, and it took him at least 40 minutes to walk over from the ellipse. And again, remember, the Trump campaign or whatever organization had a permit to continue their rally on the Capitol grounds. Now, I don't know if it's at this exact space, although I am curious why there were bleachers set up in the, up on the steps there. But I don't think this is where their rally was supposed to happen. But because everyone was walking in the same direction at that point where those original people, while Trump was still speaking, pushed through the barriers, those barriers were not there. So that was the most direct route from the ellipse to the Capitol. So it's really, really just fascinating how, how this turned out. And I don't know why this is not working, but we'll just let it go. So anyway, I have a whole bunch of other articles and stuff that I didn't get to. But there is an article on the House committee, the House Weaponization Committee, how they can get the most from their Twitter Files witnesses from the Federalist. The Twitter Files link is also going to be in there. the QAnon shaman's lawyer says the DOJ lied and withheld videos aired. Attorney for so-called QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley asked federal prosecutors repeatedly for all videos showing his client inside the Capitol on January 6th. Yet told the Daily Wire he never received the bombshell and potentially exculpatory footage aired Monday night by Tucker Carlson. Albert Watson, whose client Jacob Chansley pleaded guilty to felony charges in connection with the Capitol riot and was sentenced to 41 months in prison, said Department of Justice prosecutors were legally bound to turn over the footage. Clips shown on Carlson's Fox News Channel program show Chansley walking freely and peaceably through the building with accompanied by multiple police officers. We did not receive that video footage, Watkins says. We asked for it, not just once or twice. Whether we asked for it or not is irrelevant because the government had an absolute non-compromisable duty to disclose that video, and they did not do so. All the while, they were actively representing the court and the American people that Jake was a leader leading a charge into the Capitol, he said. They did not disclose that footage because it ran contrary to their rote narrative. So, got a feeling there might be a little appeal. And plus, basically that's it's Brady. It's from the Brady case. This is what's known as Brady material that the government is required to supply defendants with anything that could be exculpatory. They didn't do it in this case. Also, from the New York Post, an article from Miranda Devine, an egregious denial of due process for January 6th protesters. Of course, this footage that they are not being allowed to use as part of their defense is breaking federal law. She's saying that for more than 2 years, while they controlled every level of power in Washington, the Democratic Party and their media allies told a one-sided story about what happened on January 6th. For more than 2 years, surveillance footage from the 2021 Capitol riot aired this week by Tucker Carlson was kept from the American public by a Democratic Congress, so a false narrative became cemented in the public consciousness. For more than 2 years, footage that could have exonerated January 6th defendants was kept out of from their legal teams. People are in prison because of this cover-up. And then she talks about how Chansley and his lawyer, expressed that to the media, and I got a feeling they'll be expressing it to the courts pretty soon. So yeah, this is it's not. Let's just say it's not justice. In Breitbart, he's laughing because John Nolte from Breitbart, not Nick Nolte, the disheveled drunk from the what's that series that Eddie Murphy was in? Beverly Hills Cop series? Not Beverly Hills Cop, no. What was the one where he's the prisoner? Axel Foley. I can't think of it. Anyway, is how some of the Republican leaders grimaced at the thought of Tucker Carlson showing these videos, mainly because they're part of the Uniparty. So you can read about that if you want. And then some people are just thinking, well, but it was an insurrection. That was an insurrection. I guarantee it was an insurrection because it said so in the media and the Democrats said it was an insurrection. So this is just a list of some people on the left claiming that Tucker Carlson, well, he should be fired. He should be censored because it was an insurrection. It was an insurrection. And then Elon Musk blasts McConnell for attacking the January 6th transparency. I keep forgetting which party he belongs to. Oh, damn, Elon. He belongs to the Uniparty, Elon. What are you thinking here? So several articles about that. And then, do I have anything else? There's a whole bunch of articles about that. We can skip Ace. And I'm going to finish up with this. Oh, my gosh. Well, House Democrats lash out at a journalist who raised alarm over lab leak. It's pretty much a given now. But this is the one I want to talk to because this is happening in my state. Minnesota Democrats want $100 million for reparations. Apologies for George Floyd and Dred Scott. Wait a minute. Minnesota wasn't even a state yet when the during slavery. What are you talking about? Not to be outdone by California, representatives of the evil party of Minnesota on Thursday introduced the Minnesota Migration Act in a state legislature to study and provide reparation grants for American descendants of chattel slavery who reside in the state. This is a reparations bill that is designed to redress, according to one of its sponsors, the structural institutionalized racism in Minnesota and all of American society, which they claim has led to overwhelming black-white disparities in housing, business, investment, and economic prosperity, health, wellness, life expectancy, and infant mortality. To end that structural racism, or at least make up for the damage it has done so far, white Minnesotans are going to have to pony up $100 million. Well, not just white Minnesotans. I'm a Minnesotan who pays taxes. All Minnesota taxpayers, which, again, I suppose begs the question. Shouldn't Minnesota, if they're going to, try to pony up $100 million, why would they be ponying it up from Minnesotans? Or even the state of Minnesota, because the state of Minnesota didn't exist during slavery. And that's usually what they say reparations is for, right? Why would the state of Minnesota have to do that? Since it didn't exist yet. And I'm going to guess, I have a direct relatives in my family that I was adopted by that were slaves, right? And yet they weren't slaves in Minnesota. Now, I could see if Minnesota was going to attack some states that actually where slavery was legal, okay? Because remember, the first countries in the world to abolish slavery were Great Britain, France, and the United States, right? They ended a institution that'd been around for a couple millennia. Why would the state of Minnesota? Now, I'm not saying if you're going to try to get reparations for slavery, wouldn't you get it from companies and or states that actually had slavery and not the ones that didn't? That's how you don't understand in California either. California never had slavery. Maybe if you count the Chinese railroad workers or something, but that's a whole other story. California never had slavery. Why are these states that didn't have slavery asking their taxpayers to pay reparations? That makes sense. And I'm not even 100% against reparations, but I think it should be the companies or countries that maybe were the cause of slavery in the United States, like Spain, Portugal, the slave traders in Western Africa, the slave traders in the Arab nations, were all the ones who were the cause of slavery. Why not go after them? Oh, wait, because you can't virtue signal if you get it from somewhere else. So you can virtue signal if you say, oh, I got reparations for slavery in a state that never had slavery. I don't get it. Anyway, that's Minnesota. Remember when I told you our governor, whenever California or New York does something, our state tries to copy it? Welcome to Minnesota. All right, you can read about that too. I got to go because I'm way late. Hey, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. If you haven't hit the like button yet, why? Why haven't you done it yet? Do that now. And if you will share the stream after the stream is good too. I would love it. If you are here just watching the replay, put a comment in the comment section. Ask me. Okay, 2 questions of the day. One, what should the defendants of the January 6th trials all get new trials? That's too easy. If let's say, okay, here's a question of the day for the comment section. If for some reason reparations, you believe reparations be paid, or even if you don't, let's say that, but that happens, who should pay the reparations? I'm curious. There's some banks out there that were involved in the slave trade. Maybe those banks should pay them, or maybe Democrats. I think the Democratic Party should be the one that should pay for reparations, because even though, you know what, look, even if you say, oh, well, the parties kind of switched, right? Well, if you bought the party that owed a debt, shouldn't your party still owe the debt, even though you weren't a part of that party? But guess what? You own the party, and they're the ones who own the debt. Maybe your party should own the debt. So Democrats, pony up. I need the the money that my great grandparents and the adopted family I did, because look, that would be generational wealth that I didn't get because of you Democrats. So how about if the Democratic Party must pay? And that was the slogan that Hotep Jesus came up with a long time ago. Democrats must pay. Absolutely. Democrats, where's my check? Let's go. All right. Anyway, and then finally, you can sponsor the show because they're not going to pay me. So I'd be happy if you guys could help me out. PDogKnight.live. That's the Streamlabs link. Super chats and Venmo, Cash App are in the description down below. But 24 hours a day, PDogKnight.live. They take less of your money that they would take that would normally be going to me. That's why I like using them. All right, I gotta go. Thanks everybody. I gotta go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye bye. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.